John Raspani for SecondsOut and MaxBoxing.com. I'm here underneath, actually, the historic Armory building in San Francisco, California, where on October 21st, this man here, the former WBO and NABO welterweight champion Karim "Hot Hitter" Mayfield, returns to the ring to face undefeated, he's fought a lot of those guys, Miguel Dumas for the WBU welterweight title. The card also includes 7 other fights featuring the very talented Raquel Miller and the always flashy Stan the Man Martinuk. Karim, been out of the ring for a year. I know boxers love to stay active, but I know you're a gym rat, so you're always working out. But how anxious are you to get back in there?
Oh man, I'm like super anxious, you know, to get back in there. I'm like almost opening the door to get in there right now. That's how anxious I am. But you know, I've been off for a year, and you know, just to be fighting in the Bay Area and you know, fighting around my hometown and in front of my own fans it's a beautiful thing. So I'm anxious and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I remember when the last time I saw you was at near the Kezar, and you had your hometown fans there cheering everything you did. I mean, you got to feel that, right? I mean, that gives you more like almost strength when people are cheering for you like that, right?
Indeed, you know, you certainly do get a lot more strength. You get a lot of energy, you know, and I mean the positive energy is certainly heartfelt, and it's you know, a lot of people say they feel like they are fighting in the ring when I'm in the ring. So that's the same energy and that same positive energy that they exude. You know, it actually I'm receiving that same energy. So I mean, hey man, I look to have a whole lot of energy when I'm fighting in the Bay Area.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? I mean, you're a very proud San Francisco person. You love your city. You represent it really well. And so here you will be fighting here at a historic place. I mean, like you just said, you've got to be super pumped, right?
Yeah, man, as you mentioned, it's an historic venue, and I'm super pumped, man. I'm ready to go, and I haven't fought here in maybe 3 years, and you know, a lot of people have been asking, when you fighting again, when you fighting out here? So I actually can say I'm fighting again soon, October 21st, and I'm fighting out here. So I have a lot of people that's, when they see me, they ask, this is like #1 question. So I'm like, I'm fighting October 21st. They're like, really? And I say out here, and they're like, oh, they're like all ecstatic. So I'm just excited to be able to fight out here in the Bay Area.
Yeah, your last fight was a disputed loss to there's that guy named Bakia Ayubov, right?
Yes, that's pretty close.
That's pretty close, right? Not to mangle too, but in Rochester, a fight that just about everyone thought you won. And I hate this question, but I always ask fighters this because I try to relate, because I played some sports and I was on losing teams when sometimes the loss was disputed, and it's so hard. I mean, so that must have really, when you train, you go there, and then you lose a fight that you won, really. How hard is that? Explain that to me in your own words.
Yeah, it's actually quite hard. As you mentioned, a lot of people thought I won. You know, you had all 3 commentators felt that I won 8 rounds to 2 or 7 rounds to 3. And Facebook polls and the Twitter polls actually had me winning. And you know, going back to your question, how hard is that? It's actually hard knowing that you had given so much time and so much energy to prepare for a fight, whether if it's 8 to 6 weeks, you know, and to know that you went in there and fought an opponent, but come to realize that you fought more than an opponent. You fought the judges and you fought the ref. It's certainly not a good look, and it's certainly not a good feeling.
Yeah, boxing's had that problem for years. You know, as we know, you're a boxing historian, so you know all about that. And why do you think it is so hard to win a fight on the road?
Well, I think that a lot of times the promoters have so much invested into this particular guy, the opponent, or whoever they may have that's fighting, and I wasn't on the what they would call the A side. So if I'm not the promoter's guy, that means I'm on the B side. So they're investing in, obviously they're picking the judges. A lot of times the commission have some say so, but then again the promoter has a lot of say on who they want. So you know, they're for the most part they're pretty much protecting their investment. You know, it's a shady game, and it's, you know, a lot of, you know, I've heard that there was a lot of sharks and baboons and raccoons and everything else in the sport. But I come to realize that hey man, you can't just win by decision. You got to win by collision.
Yeah, that's right. Now, do you sometimes did you ever think to yourself that even before a fight starts, when you're on the road, that you're already down a couple of rounds? I mean, you feel that way sometimes?
Indeed, you know, you try to go in there with trying to be optimistic as you can, but then again, knowing that you're going in to a hometown, or knowing that you're fighting the promoter's fighter, you know that you are already, down a few rounds already. So, you have to do a lot more each round. You may be down almost a point each round before you even get in a round. So, as I mentioned, I did a lot preparing for that fight. So I actually stepped my punch count up from 50 punches, which was pretty average for mine, to 73 punches per round. So, I feel like I won the fight, and everyone else did. And, going back to your question, man, it's difficult fighting on the road.
Yeah, I remember when you fought on the road against Raymond Serrano, and that was one time where you took the fight into your own hands by knocking him out with a blistering right hand, as I called it, dip and rip. That's that's the one. So now that fight was, I think you were the underdog going into that fight, because Serrano was another one of these hot shots that the promoter was pushing, and you were coming from San Francisco, and people were like, that's Karim, he's going to lose, and you knocked him out. Now that had to have been felt very good to be able to do that, because then you don't have to worry about the judges, right? Right.
Yes, I was actually defending my title. Actually, I was in NWO titles at that point, and it was a great feeling. As I mentioned before, you were going against the referees and the judges, and going into that fight, I feel that the ref was already leaning towards his ways. There's certain things that he was, saying, in the way that he was looking at me before we even went out to fight. I'm like, why is this guy only talking to me while he's talking, And it's not like I'm some dirty fighter, but I'm like, why is he looking at me while he's talking before he gives his rules? But nevertheless, I had to stay focused and did what I needed to do to, defend my title.
Yeah, your career has been somewhat sporadic, with a few controversial losses, but also with big victories over Patrick Lopez, where you won your belts, and Stevie Forbes on ESPN, that was a very popular fight, and Serrano, as I mentioned, and then the former interim welterweight champion Mauricio Herrera, who, by the way, always talks very glowingly about how tough you are. You've been doing this a while now, Karim. Do you feel like you're getting better?
Hey man, I don't drink alcohol, but I'm like fine wine. I'm just keep getting better with time. Hey, what, to be, and I actually do. It's funny. You see a lot of people, they set the age, and you start seeing them, you just start seeing certain moves, or they weren't able to make several years back. But I feel that me being able to go to the what they would call the wild card of the Bay Area, which is Andre Ward's gym. I go over there and keep up with a lot of and do my thing with a lot of world-class fighters that's over there. Andre Berto, Amir Khan. You have guys that's you have a lot of the Olympians that's over there right now. Virgil's training, Virgil Hunter, and just being able to keep up and do my thing with those guys, and just being able to compete with those guys, and being in the ring with those guys. A lot of these young guys that's coming out of the Olympics, the last Olympics, and heavier weights than me, and just being able to be in there with them, I'm able to not have ring rust, and be competitive and keep my competitive edge.
Yeah, you were in some real wars with Amir Khan. I saw that, and then I heard about some of your fights with Berto were pretty tough too, right? So I mean that's pretty typical over there at Andre Ward's gym, right?
Right. Yeah, man. When we over there, it's all love when we when we're not sparring, but when we in there, man, hey, we got to do what we need to do, and so it's all war, and all is fair in war.
That's true. What's your greatest motivation now, Karim? I mean, do you still think you got something to prove here?
My greatest motivation is, just to show, a lot of the youth out here that you can, once you put your mind to do something, you can accomplish a whole lot. I don't know where the next few chapters of my life would be. Maybe a promoter, as I'm actually promoting this fight here. I'm co-promoting this fight here, Hard-Headed Promotions. And, so, going back to your question, I say my greatest motivation is my children and the youth for the most part, and the offsprings of a lot of my friends that was murdered in these San Francisco streets, and just to show them that you can accomplish a lot once you put your mind to do it, and once you get around the right people and you have a plan, you can do what you need to do, and accomplish what you need to be, whatever you have your mind set to do.
Yeah, I think I've seen you like to go to schools and talk to kids, right? About
I do.
Staying out of trouble and pursuing their dream and following their dream. I mean, because you had a pretty rough childhood in a lot of ways, right? You ran with maybe some of the crowd you might not have liked running, but you got out of it. You found boxing, and so you like to tell the kids, right, how to do it.
Exactly. Yes. You know, I love to be a motivational speaker to the youth, and you know, San Francisco has certainly changed for the better, for the most part, in certain ways, besides, you know, the gentrification, but kicking us out of these San Francisco houses. But for the most part, you know, it still goes down in the city, and you know, still a lot of violence that happen. Very few may not know, you know, just obviously they want to make it seem as touristy as they can, and you know, a place to go. But you know, in these inner streets, it goes down. It ain't as sweet as it may seem to be. But I like to go to the different neighborhoods, Sunnydale, Hunters Point, you know, Fillmore, and Trail Hill, just to speak to the youth and just give them a positive message.
Great. Your opponent on the 21st here at the Armory, Karim, is undefeated in 10 fights with 7 knockouts. I'm sure you know that. What advantages do you think you have over him?
Overall, I feel I have experience. You know, to be honest, as I mentioned, I am co-promoting this fight, and I could have picked, for the most part, who I wanted to get in here. You know, people ask me, why would you pick a 10-0 7 KO guy if you can pick a guy that's, you know, 7 losses, you know, and been KO'd 7 times, you know, and I just want to show that, I just want to show the world, for the most part, show my fans that I haven't lost a step by any means, and that I'm still up there, and to show, you know, I like to, you know, going back to your other question, this kind of coincides with one of the other, well, with this question, that I'm going to be the undefeated champion. I want to, undisputed champion, and I have a whole lot in me, and I'm just come to prove it. October 21st, undefeated, 7 KOs, 10-0, 7 KOs. Don't mean nada.
Nothing, huh? Nothing.
Yeah, so yeah, you know, my advantages, I feel, is my experience. I have a whole lot of experience. You know, this guy hasn't fought the guys that I've fought, and or defeated the guys, the type of guys that I've defeated, and or even, you know, get the type of sparring that I'm getting, and that I'm out there, that I'm working with from today. I've been off for a year, but I've been in there in the ring, and you know, as I mentioned, you don't play boxing, and it's not a game, and we're in there. As I mentioned, it's a war until we get out of the ring.
It is. Okay, he is Karim Mayfield, who on October 21st will be fighting here, right here at the Armory in San Francisco, California, a place, as I think I mentioned before, rocks with boxing history. 7 other fights are also included. Tickets can be purchased, right, Karim, by going to www.everbright.com, and then in the right-hand corner it says tickets, and you just click it, and then you can buy them, right? I mean, this place, I'm sure every seat will be good. The vantage is good. It's big. The ring will be right in the center, I'm sure. So everybody's going to be able to see all the action, right?
Definitely. We got a lot of great people, good people on the card. Ricardo Cornell from the Mission Street. He looked to put on for the Mission, as you mentioned. Raquel Pretty Beast Miller. We got Xavier Martinez from the TMT. We got a Money Team guy on there. Willie Shaw, Leonard, just
Stan the Man.
Stan the Man, I can. And yeah, man, we just look to put on, and it's going to be a great show for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to say something too, because I've seen this man fight a number of times. I saw him fight at the Oracle, and he always brings it, and he always puts on a show. So don't miss this one, October 21st, here at the Armory. Karim, thanks so much.
And there you have it.
Good luck to you, and we'll talk again.
Right on, baby.